What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Winning the Margins podcast with myself, your host, Gabriel Rocha. Today, I am joined by a friend here, IFBB Bikini Pro, and one of the best posing coaches in the game right now, Gemma Nanista. Gemma, it's been a pleasure. I know we haven't chatted in quite some time, but I mean, from what I've seen online, things are going really well. You're making insane progress in terms of your physique, and then also your posing business is taking off. I can't remember the last time I went on Instagram and didn't see, 5 to 10 different girls working with you, and they all look like they're bringing very competitive posing packages to the stage. So you're obviously doing some really good work. Before we get into any of the, mental performance stuff, I want to give you a second to let people know where they can find you, where they can hire you for posing practice. I don't like leaving it to the end because I feel like most people kind of check out by that point. So, where's the best place for people to find you?
So best place is Instagram. So my Instagram is Gemma Gemma .ifbbpro. I do have a booking link in my bio for posing coaching. You're also free to DM me as well, but Instagram's definitely the best way to reach me.
Nice. Now, first things first, since we're on the topic of posing coaching, I was going to ask about your bodybuilding first, but since we're already on posing coaching, um, I know this is something that you had wanted to do for a long time and that you're really passionate about, especially from when we were working together last year. What was it like taking that leap to opening your posing coaching business?
So I was always doing like posing kind of like on the side more, and it was just something to like, all right, like if Mike needed client help or I'd take a few clients on here and there, I wasn't like actively promoting it just because I wasn't sure if like I wanted my career to be in bodybuilding. I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be separate. So I went to more of like a 9 to 5 life, and then I I truly hated the 9 to 5 life, honestly. Like, I don't think really anyone loves it that much. But once I left that, that's what really pushed me into like, okay, like I need to start doing posing more because I was having all these girls reaching out to me and it was kind of hard to take more clients on. Like I had so much more demand. I had so many girls reaching out, trying to book, and then I didn't have weekends off because I was just working straight through and every hour was basically a call. And I was like, okay, like if I'm gonna do this, like I need to go full fledged. So I left my 9 to 5 job, and I am still doing like contracted in something with another company, but even that, like it's hard for me to like really get my hours in with that company sometimes because I'm just so booked up with posing, and it's just been the biggest blessing ever. And I really tried being like more of like a coach. Like I've always wanted to be a coach. I've always been a coach, in hockey and volleyball, but I wanted to be more fitness coaching, like lifestyle coaching, and that's just like my cards weren't falling there, no matter how hard like I wanted them to. And I was like, but posing it was like it was very easy for me to get extremely good at becoming a posing coach with my cueing, with the girls I work with, like who I work with, how I set my sessions up. So it just was a great. It was something like I really didn't see coming,
Mhm.
but I'm so happy for it. It's just been like the biggest blessing ever. It puts a smile on my face every day. I love every single girl I work with, like so passionately, and I couldn't ask for anything better right now.
Yeah. Man, that's amazing. And like I said, seeing it from the outside looking in and just watching it take off how it has been so awesome.
It's yeah.
Walk
I
us through a little bit of, sorry, go ahead.
I'm like overwhelmed. I'm like I need more hours in my day
In the best way possible, though,
in the
right?
best way possible.
Yeah. Walk us through a little bit of what your process looks like when you get, a new girl who is, she might be new to posing or maybe they've been in bikini for a long time, but then they don't have the best habits. How do you go about diagnosing like the root cause issues and then providing those next steps forward?
So I don't call my sessions anymore. I call my sessions courses now because I don't like to think of it as like this is just like a one-time thing and you do your session with me and like that's it. I like to structure it and really break it down. So typically if I have someone that's brand new to posing, or they've been posing for a while but maybe their habits aren't the best, the first session is always going to be the mandatories no matter what, and we're going to spend 30 minutes of just doing the mandatories, and not even just the mandatories but mobility work. I want to see, are you arching from your lower back, or are you doing anterior pelvic tilt? I want to see, are you sitting into your hip pocket when you're not supposed to be sitting sideways into that? I really break down each pose fundamentally, and like make sure like we are positioned in the way that we need to be no matter what. I'm making sure that you know how to section off your body. I want to see that you can rotate your upper body without your lower body moving, and vice versa. I want to see you being able to tilt your hips forward without seeing the arch in your back and your stomach protruding out.
Yeah.
That's always going to be the first session. There's some outliers, people that can pick it up fast, maybe already started off great. I can dive into a little bit more. Second session's breaking down like front to back transitions. That's it. Because I'm so detailed. You're not going to remember everything I teach you in this session, truly. And I've thrown the whole textbook at someone before. I've taught someone the full routine in a session. And it just doesn't stick. And I want this to stick. I want you to learn from what I'm teaching you versus here's your routine, like, good luck, like, you know, we're going to keep doing the same routine over and over and over again, and every session's going to feel the same. So it'll go mandatories, front to back transitions, making sure that is nailed by the end of the session. Third session's back to front, giving you different variations there, finding the one that you like, you're comfortable with, and then piecing it all together. So it really is a kind of like a 3-session, 3-course process. But if you really truly practice it and you're taking everything from this session and just applying it in your own practice, you pick it up so fast. And that's why my girls' footwork are always so good. The poses are always good. The angling's always good. Like, I don't overwhelm them. I don't care if it's a slower approach. Like, I don't. Like, that's how I like to do it. And, you know, like, it takes time. Like, it's like learning a dance. You're not going to learn this in a single session and be good at it. I rather break it down, make sure you truly understand it, so it only takes 3 sessions to truly nail the footwork. Then we're doing the same footwork over and over and over again for the next 5 to 6 sessions. So that's my process there,
Quality over quantity.
for sure.
What does homework kind of look like? Because obviously, like when you're in the sessions and you're building up those really good habits,
Hmm.
it's really easy to correct in the moment. But then, if you're not really paying attention to what those cues look like, and I'm not going to sit here and try to recall everything that you just talked about because I know nothing about bikini posing, right? So this is very much like an exploration into what goes into bikini posing for me as well. How do you kind of structure your homework, and then is there a way for your girls to kind of like send you updates where you can kind of send back, hey, here, I noticed you're doing this, and I know we talked about this instead. Like, here's what I want you to fix through the next week, etc.
For sure. So I always give homework in some way, shape, or
Nice.
form. Whether it's mobility work, I'll send them videos that they need to be doing if they can't really get down to anterior pelvic tilt. Or sometimes it's like their body's just so stiff and tight. It's like you just need more than just the anterior pelvic tilt. Like you need like an actual mobility program for this, or you know, rotation work, upper body rotation work, like holds, homework, and then within the sessions, like I don't just cue them. I make them verbally say what they're feeling to me. I'll test them. So I'm like, hey, like we're in our front pose, like we're hitting it correctly. Where are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Explain this to me. Tell me it like I'm 5. Like what are you feeling right now in this moment when you are hitting your front pose correctly? And they'll say like, oh, I feel it tight here, maybe my adductor, my lower back, whatever. Maybe for me, I feel in my oblique, so he's kind of like use that as an example. And then I tell them to stop, and I tell them to go back into it, and I tell them to search for that feeling again. And if they hit the front pose and maybe it's slightly off, I'm like, do you feel it? And they tell me no. Then I'm like, okay, twist more and see if you feel it. And then they're like, okay, I feel it now. And then again, and I make them rinse and repeat until they're hitting it consistently. And then that to me is like, okay, you've learned what it feels like to listen to your body and
Mhm.
make sure you're hitting your pose correctly, because on stage you're not going to have a mirror, you're not going to have me, you're only going to have you and your body. So you need to know what it feels like when you're doing the poses correctly versus when you're not. That's always going to be like my biggest thing. Like I'll tell girls like if they're struggling to hit their back pose evenly, like if one
Hmm.
foot's ahead of the other, I have them go up against a wall, and I'm like, okay, step into your back pose because the wall's gonna stop them from like going too far forward, or they'll know because their toe isn't touching the wall like the other one is.
Yeah. That's
I'll
so
have them,
creative.
yeah, I'll have them do that like 10 times in a row. I always do each movement multiple times so that it gets locked in their brain. It's not just one cue, it's not just one
Right.
fix, it's repetition. So those are like the homeworks I give them. Even like my stupid one is like when learning the arms, I'm like, you know how to do a wave, right? Like you're going like this with your arms, like you're leading with your elbow. I have
Yeah.
them go into the mirror and like teach them like how to move their arms, just like go do the wave, go move your arms, like go learn what it feels like to lead from your elbows. I have a whole library that I can get into of like homework and cues and drills and things I give them to do. And then I give them a week to practice it. And I'm like, okay, your next check in, the following week, whatever it may be, like
Mhm.
you are sending me videos, you're sending me pictures. And I will give you corrections, I'll give you feedback. And we do
Mhm.
it all the time. I have clients that send me every week videos, pictures, like normal training videos. I tell them, treat me like your coach. Like I want to, just like your coach wants to see training videos, I want to see your posing videos. I
Mhm.
have girls that are, I mean, they're one day out from USA. It's like, I tell them I want to do a quick 15-minute call. Like that, it's on me. I'm not gonna, like, I want to see it for myself
Yeah.
and for you. And that's it. Like, it's courtesy. Like, it's not me making money off of this. I just have so much pride in what
Yeah.
I'm putting on stage. And I want my girls to feel comfortable that, like, a 15-minute call to me is like, it's no big deal.
Right.
If if they're feeling good, if I feel good, that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I love the attention to detail there with the way that you've kind of outlined your process. I'm sure that has been what has led to so many of the successes that your girls have had. 'Cause like I said, I see you posting of girls like dang near every weekend who they go on stage and like you can tell they're confident.
Yeah.
And when we're on stage, like that is the main thing you want to feel is that confidence. So
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about what you want your girls to embody when they're on stage. Like, is there any specific traits or anything that you want them to feel like besides just confidence? Because I work with other bikini competitors as well in the mental game, and the way I've heard some of them describe it to me is like there's a sense of like confidence, there's a sense of sexiness, there's some
Mhm.
femininity involved. How do you kind of describe what a bikini competitor should be bringing to the stage?
So I feel like everyone's personality is different, right? For me,
Okay.
I like to feel elegant. Like I like to, and that's why I pose the way I do is because I like to feel slow, controlled. Like I like to be a captivating poser. And then there's
Mhm.
some girls that are like I like to be like spicy, like cute, goofy, like bouncy, bubbly. Like I'm not. So I do think that like the personality of the person themselves is dependent on how they pose, right? Like I'm not someone that's like spicy, bubbly, this and that. Like me on the daily, I'm pretty this. So my posing matches who I
Mhm.
am. Same thing with those girls. So when I'm saying like, hey, like, I want you to feel like if I'm talking to a girl that's super bubbly, super cute, whatever it may be, I'm like, I want you to feel like you just put on your best outfit. Your hair's
Mhm.
done, you're feeling yourself, you're walking down the street. That's like the feeling I want you to feel like you're kind of hot shit. Like you
Yeah.
do. Like every girl knows that feeling of when they're feeling bomb, you
Mhm.
walk differently. You
Right.
strut differently. Your chest is up taller, your head's up taller. You're like, look at me.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I want with some of those girls. Other girls, I'm like, I just want you to feel like the most like graceful person on stage. Like I
Mhm.
want you to feel like time is slow. You're just moving. Like it's no one else in the room. It's just you and it's just you. That's what it is. Like take your time, be slow, be elegant, be graceful, like have that captivating moment. And that's how I like to feel. So it's so hard to be like, I want you to feel like this way or this way because there's some
Mhm.
girls that's just like, neither way might not work for them. So it's like, okay, like, what do you? I ask, I'm like, how do you want to feel when you pose?
Mhm.
What do you want to embody? Do you want to feel like really feminine? I love the femininity. Okay, like that's what I want you to feel. I want you to feel feminine. I want you to feel like you're the prettiest girl ever. Like you're gorgeous, you're glowing, which you will feel because when you have your hair done, your makeup done like that, and you're in a sparkly bikini, it's kind of hard not to feel that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's so many ways to go about like what I want my girls to feel. It just depends on them. Like if I have a girl like me who started off like in their life like pretty tomboy, telling
Hmm.
them to be like the spiciest mommy on stage, like they're gonna be like, what, like I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna be like, okay, same.
Yeah.
So let's find what works for you.
Yeah. And now that you break it down that way, that makes a lot of sense because when I think of, I'm really only familiar with male bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And so when I think about male bodybuilders, you kind of have a couple of different archetypes of male bodybuilders where, they like to pose to heavy music, that rock, and they like to be very powerful when they're hitting, their most muscular, like they're making all the face and right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like a Nick Walker.
Yeah,
But then
for
on
sure.
the flip side, you have those bodybuilders who they're very elegant with their posing, like a Terrence Ruffin, right, or a
Yeah.
Breon Ansley, where they bring that artistic side, right? What does your artistic process look like when you're putting together a routine for yourself, right? Because obviously you're getting ready for a show, and I know with bikini the walk is such an important aspect of it, right? The way that you're presenting yourself is far more important in terms of like from step to step and like from second to second than for the men. Because like for the guys, it's like we literally just we walk out on stage. Like a lot of
Yeah.
guys, they literally just boom, 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 and just like walk out
Yeah.
on
They
stage.
just like they
For bikini competitors, is much different. It's like as soon as you break the curtain and you're on that stage, like you are fully locked in. The
yeah.
elegance needs to be there. So, what does it look like for you going through your artistic process of creating your own routine?
So for me, see, I'm like the worst at this because I every 3 months I'm like I hate my routine and I'll switch it up. For some reason, I'm just like I don't like this anymore, or like I
Yeah.
don't like my back post transition anymore. Like meh, not me. Okay, switch. So when I need to set myself up properly too. If it's not like I need to set myself up a very specific way for me to get the momentum into my walk. Otherwise, it's like very difficult for me to like not lock into it.
Mhm.
So I almost have to be more technical of myself in terms versus like, okay, in the beginning versus in my routine itself, I can have like a little bit more. I get I can allow my body to do what it wants,
Mhm.
which is kind of what I tap into and what I do with my girls as well. Is I watch their movements and I see what the body naturally wants to do and I apply that. So even for myself, I know there's some movements that like might not work the best on me or might not look the best on me, and like I'm not gonna force myself to do that. So I'll use an example. I have a girl that, for me, this was also me. I'm trying to teach them to like cross their arms over, but their body naturally wants them to scoop up, out, and around. And no, if I try that 3 times in a row and it still looks like they just want to come up, scrap it. We're coming up. We're
Mhm.
doing whatever is going to be the most natural for you to do, which is what I do with my movements. Is I'm not going to try anything extra because it's not going to look right. I'm not going to try to go the extra mile when I know it's not. It's going to look like I'm trying to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
I want my body to just move fluidly.
Yeah.
Whatever it wants to do, whatever tempo it just wants to come out in that moment, whether my arms want to cross in front of me or if they want to scoop up, out, and around, I just let the body move in the way it wants to. I'm not going to try to fight against it. I'm not going to try to do a movement pattern on myself that I know is like, it's going to cause too much thinking because that's the last thing you want on stage. You
Hmm.
don't want to think.
Yep.
Your body should just kind of be like flowing. It should be moving. If I have to think about, okay, so I have to turn my hip this way and bring my arm out and around in this way and like shimmy my shoulder here, like it's too much to
Hmm.
think.
Yeah.
So when I've tapped into like kind of like the artistic side of things, it's like I first have to set myself up technically in terms of like how I present myself onto the stage and how I set myself going into the stage. I always have to start in like a model pose. So
Hmm.
like not the front pose, but just the model pose, and like that's gonna give me like that nice first step into my walk. And then that's when my body just flows and just gets into like more of like an artistic, natural rhythm versus like, you know, if I start in any other way, I'm gonna lose that, and then it's gonna translate into my posing, and I'm gonna lose that
Yeah.
like artistic side. And then letting my body flow just naturally in my poses, I'm letting my hips do most of the work, which makes everything else look effortless, which is
Yeah.
what I want. I want my posing to look effortless. So yeah, letting my body just kind of, I learned what my body wanted to do,
Right.
and it translated in with my posing.
I love that you just talked on that because, especially, so I've been reading a book called The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy
Mhm.
Gallwey. And while it is about tennis, it really talks about like the mental game and what allows people to be really good at whatever task they are doing. And one of the things that the author breaks down in that book is the calculated mind versus the intuitive mind. And the way that he breaks that down is he calls it self one versus self two. And so what
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about there is the athlete that finds himself on stage or practicing their posing when they're thinking about every little detail, like my foot needs to go here, my hip needs to go like this, my shoulder needs to go like that. That is self one. That's the calculated mind. And when you're calculating, you end up miscalculating. It's like you can overthink the process and then find yourself in a position where you're no longer able to focus on the things that truly matter. Ideally, where we want to be at is in self two, which is the intuitive mind. It's like, can I
Mm-hmm.
just flow? Like the thing that I've practiced hundreds of times, it just happens because that is my body's um, muscle memory kicking in. I don't need to overthink all of these different things. And so, with that being said, like self one is calculation is miscalculation.
For
When you're
sure.
sitting there over analyzing every little bit, you get caught up in also, well, am I going to do it wrong? And when you start focusing
Mm-hmm.
on, am I going to do it wrong? That's when you end up doing it wrong. So I know you talked about like you played volleyball, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're back there about to serve and you're sitting there, you've got the ball in your hand, you're not thinking to yourself, okay, I need to throw the ball up this high and then I need to bring my arm back this much before I
Yeah.
swing this hard.
For
If you start
sure.
over calculating all of that stuff, you end up doing the wrong thing. And so your best serves happen when you're just in a flow state. You're not even overthinking it. You just kind of throw it up and you let your body do what it knows how to do. The same thing goes for posing. So if we can get into that state of the intuitive mind, you're going to be much better off.
And I think it's learned because I think you need to be calculated in the beginning in the sense
Mhm.
of like my footwork for my girls, right? The flow comes from the footwork. Once my feet are on autopilot and it becomes intuitive, then everything else can flow. Versus when I need to get you in the proper steps, you almost need to be calculated first to learn how to be intuitive with it. At least in
Yeah,
my experience. That's what I
absolutely.
noticed where it's like, okay, like, yes, I'm detailed with the footwork because I want this to become a muscle memory where it turns into you just being intuitive. And then it leaves less thinking for everything else. Once your feet are on autopilot in the terms of like posing for
Mhm.
bikini, everything else can just flow because your feet know what to do. Your body knows what to do in the lower half. And now I can think and be more creative in my arms because I'm not thinking about both at the same time. I've learned the feet. I was detailed with the feet. I was calculated with my feet, and it turned into them just like moving like intuitively
Yeah.
versus, you know, I think it can be like almost like you need to be calculated first. It's like kind of, I hate throwing this example, but like tracking your food first, and then, you
Yeah.
know, later down in life, you know how to actually eat your food pretty intuitively.
Right.
But I think it's almost learned at that point.
Yeah, and the way I kind of look at it is exactly how you're explaining it, where it's like when you start working with someone, first off, we're going to be very calculated about learning the actual skill and being very technical about it. But by the time you get to the stage, in 12 weeks from now, the work is all done. But then what ends up happening for a lot of athletes is they get overwhelmed by getting on the stage and the fear of judgment and as they start thinking about all of those other things, the extraneous variables that they have no control over. Where am I going to place? Am I going to get my pro card? What are the judges going to think? What are the people in the audience going to think? As you start focusing on the wrong thing, then that's where the miscalculation comes into play,
For
because now
sure.
now you're thinking about, well, now I need to move my feet this way. Where, for the last 4 weeks, once you've reached a certain level of competency, you go into your posing practice after training, fasted in the mornings, and your feet are doing what they already know how to do.
Sure.
But then there's something about how they're viewing the actual stage itself that adds the external pressure, that now they start calculating too much, turns into
Hmm.
miscalculation, right? And
Hmm.
so one of the things I always like to talk about in terms of a mental game with athletes is, well, what does your approach look like backstage? How do you feel when you're backstage about to get on that stage? Like, if you've competed before, you know what that feeling is like, standing on those stairs right before you get on stage. So let's say you're like competitor number 34, right? Number 32 is walking off stage. Number 33 is about to go on, and you're like right there at the top of the stairs. You're feeling all of the things. So how are you internalizing the things that you are feeling to then get on stage? What does that look like for you?
So it starts before like the stairs for me.
Hmm.
So a lot of it, and everyone's different on this, but for me, what's always been the best way is like make friends backstage. Like
Hmm.
treat it like another day in the life. Like it's just we're all here having a good time. Like we're not going into battle. Like we're not. We're stepping
Going to
on a.
war.
We're going to war. Yeah, okay. For a plastic trophy, it's fine. Like it's not. It really, truly, like it's not life or death.
Right.
Like I'm making friends. Like they're not like competition. Like it's not like, oh, I can't talk to this person because they might beat me. Like, no, like I want to feel like comfortable. Like I'll never forget for USA's, like Mike didn't come backstage for me, and that was my first ever national, well, pro qualifier show, and I was like kind of nervous, like I was my first ever pro qualifier. I'm like, I don't know anyone back here. I'm by myself. Like what's worse than just sitting with your thoughts, like
Hmm.
you can strike up a conversation with someone and just be like, hey, I like your suit color. You don't really have to like their suit color, but like maybe you like it in that moment, and it strikes up a conversation and you guys are going back and forth, this and that. Then okay, now you pulled in a few other girls and you pulled in a few other girls, and now you have a big group that in that moment you're all supporting each other,
Yeah.
and then it feels more fun. The weight is lifted off a little bit. And then when comes time to the stairs, like that weight, that anxiety of like what's going on alleviates a little bit, because you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, like I'm comfortable with these people. I'm in a comfortable space. Like you've ever walked into a room and you don't know anyone, you feel kind of the same like weirdness like you
Yeah.
do when you're backstage, where it's kind of like a little anxiety.
Hmm.
Um and then come time to the stairs, like I just kind of like take a few deep breaths. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, like here I am, like whatever. The minute my foot hits that stage, like I'm the most confident human in the world. Like I own that stage. Like I make sure of it. Like I'm having a staring contest basically with the head judge. Like I'm here. Like I want you to know I'm here. And that's how I want to feel. Like I want to feel like I'm the only person that's ever competed in this show right now. Like I don't
Yeah.
my friends I made backstage, like love them, BFFs, but like in this moment it's just me.
Yeah.
And then come time for comparisons, like just taking my time, being slow, being intentional in my movements. Like I just want my individual, which arguably is the most nerve-wracking experience when you're up there by yourself and you're performing.
Hmm.
That's you need to be in a whole other world. You need to be in your own world. You need to be honestly a little selfish, a little egotistical, a
Yeah.
little this. You need to think you're hot shit up there.
Yeah.
Honestly, because if you don't think you're the best person in this room, in your individual, you're gonna let every like anxiety, fear, maybe little slip up in your routine like get to you, and you
Yeah.
can't. So I'm a little bit of like a stuck up bitch in that moment, where I'm just like, yep, it's just me, all eyes on me. Like let me, I want all the eyes on me, and that's the like mentality I feel like you need to get into when you're getting on that stage for your
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah. And I agree with that. One of the things I like to think about, or like that I'll have some of my athletes almost remind themselves of, is these judges are here for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they are. That is their job. Their job is to judge you. And so if you go into it with that mentality of like, let's go show this panel everything that I've done over the last 12, 16, 20 weeks, the entire off season leading up to this prep, right? It's
Yeah.
easy to put the pressure on yourself and be like, well, I have to be perfect in this moment because I've put the last year of my life into this, 3 minutes that I'm going to be on stage. But in the
Mhm.
same way, when you view it as threat, that's what causes that anxiety, where it's like, if I'm not perfect, then what does that say about me? Was it all a waste? But you can also view it from the flip side, where rather than viewing it as threat, you internalize it as opportunity, where it's,
Mhm.
I get to show all of these people who are here in the crowd, in the judging panel. The girls are watching you from backstage, right? People are
Yeah.
tuning in for the live stream. If you view it as opportunity, then it becomes, let me show my art to the world, right?
Yeah.
Everybody who gets to tune in today, and I think that is a much healthier mentality to to walk onto that stage with. Now,
Yeah.
for you specifically, you said that you like to, think of yourself like you're hot shit, you're getting on that stage. Do you have, or what does that performance persona kind of look like to you? Because when I think of like some of the best athletes in the world, and I think of, Ronnie Coleman, he
Mhm.
was the king, right? You think Phil Heath, he is the gift, the dream killer. So when Phil Heath is walking out on that stage, he's not the same Phil Heath that he is at home with his wife. He is the dream killer. Like, I'm here to take this trophy and all the money away from you. So, what is that kind of like for you? Is there a specific performance persona that you tap into?
I just like I don't know if it's like a persona in the sense of like I just it's kind of hard because like I don't like change who I am on show day. It's just
Mhm.
in that moment, like in that moment in my individual, like yes, I am like kind of like a different person mentally,
Mhm.
but the entire day I'm like not like this like oh like I'm coming for blood. Just in that moment I just like girl just feel yourself. Just like be out
Yeah,
there. Like have fun just like just I always say like feel hot. Just feel hot out there. Like you know what, you have the confidence when you feel hot, when you feel good, like when you feel like you're looking your best self, which you are on show day. That's like one of
yeah,
your best looks ever. Like feel yourself. Just
yeah.
strut. Just get out there. Just show them what you got. Like be captivating in the sense like I want all the eyes on me. Like
Hmm.
I don't know if it's like a different persona per se, but I know I just think of like the judge like I think of the whole routine itself and like how I feel going into it differently versus like oh I'm this whole different person
Hmm.
because day to day I'm a pretty confident person, so I don't really think I like change like the amount of confidence I have too much. Just it's just like a little bit more elevated. Like
You
I
just
feel
have
like
it. You have it come to the forefront.
yes. I'm just like okay, like I like to be like humble and like I like to be like okay, like I'm gonna support someone that beats me no matter what. I'm not gonna be like oh ew, like this person beat me, like you know f them. Like no, like that's my sister in
Yeah.
iron, I guess over there. Like support. Oh my gosh, congratulations. But you know, like it does fit my confidence definitely does show more in that 45 seconds of like I'm almost a little bit egotistical,
Yeah.
but only for that purpose. Or like
You-
I'm full of myself, but only for that purpose of doing good and
Yeah.
for my individual. And then after that, it's like back like I'm the same person.
Yeah. Where does the root of that confidence come from? Because you always hear people talking about like, oh, fake it till you make it. But I think you can really see, especially on stage, like who is faking it right now in the
Yeah.
moment versus who actually has it. So where does your confidence come from?
I think my confidence just came from putting myself always in uncomfortable situations
Hmm.
where it's like I had to force myself to like grow or like maybe I wasn't the most like perfect fit for this you know company or this position or whatever it may be, but I need to become the perfect person. I need to like get my confidence there because I knew I can do it. Or like
Hmm.
I go into a room, I don't know anyone. I'm not gonna. I had to like get comfortable being like, "Hey, my name is Gemma. Like, nice to meet you." Like putting myself in situations I always felt uncomfortable in helped me become more confident in the long term. Like even when it comes to like social media posting, like that was always something I was like a little bit more timid of even though
Yeah.
it's literally what I do for like work half the time.
Yep.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna get where I need to be or what I want if like I don't just say F it and just post what I wanted to post. And then I did, and now I'm way more confident in like
Hmm.
not caring about what my social post is or what my feed looks like or this or that. So always putting myself in like really uncomfortable situations that force myself to grow has helped. And I've been doing this since I was young. Like I moved out earlier than, most people have. I moved states when I was like 18. Like I personally I don't like living in certainty
Hmm.
too much because I get comfortable and I don't like
Right.
being comfortable. So
Right.
I like to always put myself out there, and I feel like that has translated a lot to stage because when I was playing volleyball, I was very anxious.
Right.
I was a very anxious player and a very mental player, and I solved that and I learned from that. So that's
Hmm.
where I think it all kind of came from.
Yeah. How much of that has to do with, how hard you train and knowing like the discomfort you put yourself through all the way leading up to show day?
I think it definitely helps a lot, like
Mhm.
knowing like okay, like you don't stop when you're comfortable with training
Yeah.
and like you just gruel because like my training style has changed so much over the past year. Like
Hmm.
I do get to that level, but not to the extreme like I used to when I wasn't like bikini training. I was just bodybuilding training.
Right.
I do feel like that helped a lot in terms of like, pushing through and like perseverance with
Hmm.
like, okay, like I don't care what you think, like you're gonna get through this. So I do think the training aspect helped a lot. I think like the mental aspect of like, okay, like you can't be a bitch on the set, like you need to push through this helped. I do think like the physicalness of like I can believe it, but I think like the physicalness of me actually putting myself in like those uncomfortable situations has helped it even more than I would say the training aspect. Because the
Yeah.
training aspect is very like it's one on one. There's really no pressure if you think
Hmm.
of it. Like I don't have someone looking at me when I'm training. I'm not really like performing in a sense. Like
Right.
it's like okay, like I'm training, like I'm doing my job. I'm training hard. I'm making sure I'm training hard. But it's almost that's like a comfort place for me.
Yeah.
So it's not stepping outside of that comfort for me. That's like, oh, this is where I'm comfortable. Like I like this is
Yeah.
a safe spot. Versus anything else is like that's uncomfortable for me. I get anxiety sometimes, so I have to tap into that. I have to overcome that.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I think a lot of people have a misconstrued idea of what training for bikini truly is. And I
Mhm.
think that I was one of those people that in the past, several years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, babe, like bikini training is just kind of like, doing, um, what is it? Oh my
Booty
goodness.
bands and
Yeah,
like
like
all of
booty
it.
band stuff, right? And
Yeah.
as I've gotten a much better idea of bikini bodybuilding from working with bikini athletes in the mental game, I've recognized like, no, they train hard. There's some savages. I've heard male bodybuilders talk about bikini girls who will just not necessarily out train them, not in terms of load, but like the pain tolerance that goes
Oh,
into
for
being
sure.
a high level bikini bodybuilder. So talk to me about what people kind of misunderstand about bikini training.
So we definitely train hard, but
Absolutely.
it's a I will say it's a learned aspect. Like you have to be taught by someone that knows how to train hard to learn that. I will say it's kind of 50-50. I mean, like what you believe, there's some bikini competitors out there that they don't train hard, but they also
Yeah.
haven't been taught how to train hard. You have to be taught first. And all the competitors that are training hard, that are training balls to the walls, like they have a significant other that does that. Maybe they're trained by someone that does that. Like they have someone in their life that's taught them to get to that level. Or like maybe they're ex wellness wannabe competitors, right? That already have the mentality of like I need to train hard for this and like, they don't maybe have the genetics or want to do the things it does become a wellness competitor, so they come back to bikini. I do think it's a trained aspect that
Mhm.
some competitors are lucky to learn and some competitors just haven't had the opportunity to learn. Because I've had my fair share of like prior coaches that did put me in that bubble. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay. And I didn't learn that until I went and started dating Mike and he coached me. And then that's when I learned that, like, oh, this is where it's at. And then I think bikini training has phases now
Mhm.
where earlier it was okay for me to kind of train like an asshole because I needed the size everywhere. I need size
Right.
everywhere. So for me to do like 3 plates on the pendulum, like 8 plates on the leg press, like actually burying myself, that was totally fine because I needed to grow everywhere. And
Right.
then once you get to that spot where it's like there is a cap for how much
Mhm.
you can grow, but not for the details. There's
Right.
refining. So there's 2 phases of bikini training, and it's like the growing and then the refining. And
Mhm.
I'm in that refining phase where it's like I'm still training really, really hard, but I can't train my other body parts that need to grow, that don't need to grow.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, my training's selective. My movement, like angles are selective. I'm
Mhm.
not putting as much load as I used to because, hey, I'm actually not hitting my glutes the way I should be hitting them because I'm doing too much weight and now my quads and my hamstrings, my adductors are involved in my hip thrust or my RDLs. Like my lower back is tanked because I was going so hard and so heavy and it's not. Everything's like more detailed. So you do need to pull back a little bit in terms of like aggressiveness and like
Mhm.
training like an asshole, but you don't change the intensity of how you train. Like the
Yeah.
intensity is still there. Like my intensity just looks a little different now. Where it's like I'm not burying myself anymore. It's like okay, like I'm going until my glutes physically cannot go anymore and then that's it. My quads can still keep going. My quads can carry the movement, but I can't do that.
Right.
So it looks a little different, but I think it's all learned with the intensity at first, where it's like, yeah, you need to train hard as hell as a bikini competitor because a lot of
Mhm.
you, especially as the division keeps developing, I would have never turned pro right now when I turned pro. Like I
Mhm.
wouldn't. Like they're big now. These girls are big, so you need to be training hard as hell, getting that size, and then you kind of earn the passage to do the refinement.
Right.
That's how I
Yeah,
like
and
to
I
think of me.
yeah, and I think that's a really important idea to take away is that like there's times for a scalpel and there's times for a sledgehammer. And I
Mm-hmm.
think of it in terms of like my own training where, I've got like a bum left shoulder. I have had surgery on it before, and so when I'm going into the gym and I'm doing my pressing movements, I need to be very calculated about, my elbow path and how I'm pressing, because if not, like my shoulder will take over a pressing movement very quickly.
For
There's other
sure.
movements where if I'm doing like an upper back, chest supported T-bar row, I'm throwing on as much weight as possible and I'm slinging it. And that's
Yeah.
good for me specifically because the goal with that movement is to bring a sledgehammer. I'm not focused on a certain region of the upper back. I just want to get the entire upper back absolutely smoked with as heavy of a load that I can move with good control for, 8 to 12 reps.
Yeah.
So how has your approach to the actual session changed from a psychological standpoint? Because from my understanding, for most athletes, like if you're going into the gym for a leg day where it's like, hey, I'm just gonna go in here and bury myself, like there's a different animal that needs to come out versus I'm going in there still doing hard work, but with a scalpel.
Yeah. So, I mean, from my experience earlier with you, like, I hated it. Like, I felt like I wasn't doing shit in the gym. If I didn't feel like I
Right.
couldn't walk out of that gym, like, I didn't train hard enough. But that's
Right.
also the bodybuilder, not bikini competitor, the bodybuilder in me. And that's what I was taught when I was first like going through my growing phase was like if you're not like burying yourself, if you're not actually like fucked up after your session, you didn't train hard enough. Which now with my refinement, my like I'm at peace now with that. I'm not, wrecking myself.
Yeah.
But now my thought process of like, okay, this was like a great session or like grueling session is like, I trained my glutes to the absolute, like, I squeezed the most out of them. Like,
Hmm.
there's not one more thing where it's like, it was all glute. Like, that's all it was. That's all I care about right now is training my glutes to the highest intensity as possible, which is still heavy. Like, I'm still doing 110 for, like, dumbbells for RDLs. Like, I'm
Yeah.
still doing heavy weight, but it's just my form got better. My connection got better. I'm more intentional with how I train now.
Hmm.
And I had to back off a lot to learn that, to slowly progress back up to that, to the weight that I was working at, like when I was training like an asshole. So it took time. Like I didn't
Hmm.
really catch back up until this month, and I started this like, gosh, like maybe like a year ago. And once I kind of learned, like, okay, like I'm still making progress. My body feels so much better because I'm not like beat up all the time because I am like basically killing myself in a gym. I felt I was like, this is how I'm supposed to train. That's how I
Hmm.
felt. It's like this is how I'm supposed to train. This is
Yeah.
good. This is a good session. Like I am training intentionally. I'm training hard. Like I'm still going to failure or beyond failure. And that's all I can ask for is
Yeah.
intention and intensity.
Right.
So that's how I look at my sessions now. Did I train with intention and was I training intensely? And I'll get progressive overload like here and there. It's not frequent anymore because it's that fine line with
Hmm.
me. And then if I progress, then reps, weight, tempo, no matter what, the cleanup of the movement, my
Right.
connection with the movement. That's how I look at my training now.
Yeah, and I think an important thing to take away from that is I think a lot of people view being intentional and being intense as though they are two separate things that you
Hmm.
can't max out at the same time. And that's where I think if you look at them as though they are intertwined rather than mutually exclusive, then you can understand, like, hey, yes, there are going to be times where you might be like someone who trains really intense, but the intentionality is lower. So then what you
Yeah,
need to do for a little bit is bring down the intensity, bring up the intentionality, and then you maintain the standard of intentionality and then you raise the standard of intensity. So that way you're maxing out both of them. And I
yeah,
think that was the process that you were going through for a little bit is learning how not to tie your self-worth to the intensity because that is what had built you up until that point.
yeah.
And that is what people look at bodybuilding as is how hard do you train, right? That's typically the lens that people view you through.
And it's like they think of like how hard you train, right? I know so many guys, they're screaming their asses off, like need two spotters, everything, and their legs still suck, or their
Yeah.
back still sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's how I would train until like I would be like screaming in the gym, but like I'm so much bigger and better now and growing in the direction I wanted to in these last 2 years versus the 2 years of me like being an asshole with my training and
Mhm.
like not being intentional because I was just focused on lifting really heavy and getting to that point where my intensity was I'm screaming or like this leg press is coming back down on me like
Right.
and like I need to like be bottomed out at the bottom like it's not I don't it's not smart training. It's you're training intensely, yes, like you're screaming, it's hard, like it is hard, but it's
Hmm.
not smart.
Yeah.
And then that's why it's like you're not bringing up the body parts you should be bringing up because it's you're thinking you're training them harder, but you're probably not training them smarter.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you have to try to find that really fine line of the balance between the intentionality and the intensity. Now, I know that you are in prep right now. We're not going to disclose any dates or anything because I know we don't want to ruin the surprise for people, right? Talk to me about how different this prep has been for you from a mental standpoint in terms of your commitment to the process over outcomes, where you're at in terms of your confidence. Just talk to me about like the mental game in this prep and how that's been different.
This prep has been, look, I've only done 2 preps before in my life, and I'm happy that I've gotten to where I've gotten in only 2 preps, but
Yeah.
I will just distinctly go back on my pro debut prep, because not pro debut, sorry, my pro qualifier prep, because
Yeah.
that was the most anxiety driven lead up of a prep ever, just for my own self. Like the pressure, the this, I need to turn pro, and I will die on this hill that the turning pro prep is the worst prep you'll ever go through, because you have so much pressure just to turn pro, versus once you get past that hurdle, it's kind of like, I mean, like the Olympia, sure, like you can have pressure to go to the Olympia, but like
So
that's not
far
gonna be,
away.
it's so far away. Like that's not gonna be pressure until like maybe you're getting like top 2
Yeah.
at your shows, or top 5, or like even top 5. I could argue is like you have that pressure, but like if you haven't broken like top 3,
No.
it's not as, you could still go down to like top 10 from top
Yeah.
5. Like, there's still
Yeah.
that wiggle room, versus top 3, if you're consistently hitting that, like okay, there's that pressure, to go to the Olympia there.
Mm.
But it's just like I have 0 expectations, like none. Like, am I someone that manifests? Like I do. I've without fail written on a whiteboard for every single one of my preps the exact placing I wanted at that show. I would write down the date, the location, the placing, the class, like everything, and knock on wood, has not failed me yet. I'm doing the same for this prep, and
Yeah.
I'm being a little bit more realistic and a little slightly delusional. I'm having a healthy balance.
It's
'Cause
good.
I
Yeah.
I have no expectations. I don't
Right.
know what I'm getting into. For me, I could be like, I look like a first call out, and then I'm getting like third call outs. Or I can be like, I feel like I could be a third call, and I could get a first call out. I have no idea. I have no idea what's gonna happen, and it's peaceful in that sense of like, I let go of the reins. Versus when you're in that pro debut, like pro qualifier, sorry, prep, you're grasping those reins, because you're like, I need to turn pro, because that's the check, that's the milestone, right? That's the first milestone that is like almost like the entryway to like where you want to be. Is that turn pro, that power the pro card has is so mentally draining for you to try to achieve that. And I mean, like, I competed, that was like my first pro qualifier ever, but like, I still spent 4 or 5 years like preparing for that. Even though I wasn't actively competing and I didn't do multiple pro qualifiers, it didn't mean I didn't work hard for it. It doesn't mean I didn't have my journey with it. It was still always on the back of my mind of like, I need to turn pro. Versus this prep, it's just been peace. But I also have like, I didn't have anything else going on during that time frame, which like your only focus is just bodybuilding, which is not healthy at all.
Right.
Versus this year, oh my god, like I forget I'm in prep half the time. I'm like looking at my calendar and I'm like, shit, that's close.
Yeah.
That's actually really close.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to order stuff soon. Like I'm just like I forget that I'm in prep, and that mental load just of like the pressure to do well, I haven't thought about it. I have no idea. I just booked my hair and makeup like the other day, and I was like, well, damn, this kind of felt like real. I was like, okay, like, this kind of feels real this week, but it's just been so peaceful. And I do think like you need to have like that outlet, or like something that you're working towards inside bodybuilding to make your preps feel lighter, in the sense of the mental load of the pressure, the this, the that. But your pro qualifier prep, it's gonna be the hardest prep you ever go through mentally. I will say, like, I think it'll be the hardest one. Even for Olympia, like, you're not gonna win like the odds of you winning an Olympia are like slim to like none. Like it really truly. So it's like, okay, like you don't have that pressure to win it. Versus turning pro, it's like I went silent. I did not post my prep. Like I didn't mention anything. I said I was dieting for the summer. Like I did not want to have people watching
Yeah.
me try to turn pro and then have to be like, I didn't turn pro, and like
Yeah.
I I couldn't deal with that. So now I'm like, okay, like I can post about this because I'm excited. Like I'm allowing people into my journey more because I don't have any expectations or pressure on myself anymore. So if I do fail, it's not look, a top 10 at pro debut is amazing. Like that's an
Hmm.
amazing placement. Versus like I got second and I didn't turn pro is like that's awful. Like that's an
Yeah.
awful feeling. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the difference in these two preps have been, and I'm having fun and my
Yeah.
body's responded so much better. Like I feel great. Like honestly, up until like honestly like this week a little bit, like kind of went like energy downhill, patience downhill a little bit, but you know, other than that, I've been like sunshine and rainbows. I've been more social. I've been like my life isn't all consumed by bodybuilding right now, which
Right.
is amazing.
Yeah. And I think an important thing that you're talking about right now is like separation of identity from the stage and from your placing. And I think that for a lot of people, they view the pro card not as, a thing that you win, but as a marker for who you are.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
think that when you wrap up your identity and like, I need to achieve pro status to feel like I am worthy or to feel like this journey has been worth it, you end up outsourcing your sense of self-worth to something you have no control over.
Yes. And I will say too, when I turned pro, it was probably the worst I ever felt about myself. And I actually was like, I don't deserve this. And I questioned my love for bodybuilding when I turned pro. Like
Mhm.
I just didn't I just didn't feel almost ready for it in a
Hmm.
sense of like, okay, I achieved this and now I'm kind of in like a now what stage. But also too, like I just was like not I wasn't content with myself yet. I did not feel like I deserved or my look deserved to turn pro yet. Like I didn't feel like a pro yet. And it
Hmm.
wasn't until I learned that inner piece of myself of like being like, yeah, I am a pro. Like I look like a pro now. Like I feel like a pro. Like I move like a pro. I think like a pro. Like that's when I felt like, yeah, the cards folded. Like I did the steps. I felt like a pro before I turned pro.
Right.
Mentally, my actions, things like that. But like when I turned pro, it kind of was like my actions were still like a pro, but mentally and how I looked, I didn't feel like it. And I didn't feel like I was worthy. Like the pro card didn't mean anything to me because I felt I didn't even debut. I didn't want to debut because I wasn't confident in myself. Versus now, I took the time off. I took 2 years off from turning pro, and like now I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. I feel so much more confident in myself. I'm happier with my look. I'm happy with how it's all going. Like it you can't really tie your identity to it because at the end of the day, it's gonna be the greatest high of your life when you turn pro. The
Yeah.
week after, it's the greatest low of your life because you're kind of
Hmm.
like, this is the biggest milestone I've ever achieved. My identity, I am a pro now, and if you don't truly like keep feeling that way about yourself, or if you don't feel happy with yourself or your look or whatever it may be, like you crash and you crash really bad and you can't like tie your self-worth to it. Like
Yeah.
even if you don't turn pro, like were you happy with your look? Like yes, you were your best look ever. That's all that matters. Be happy with that.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's going to come. Like it will come. It's just like when.
Yeah. And now that we're talking about that, obviously USAs are happening this weekend. It is for me, it's currently Friday morning. For you, it's Thursday afternoon in Florida. But
Hmm.
I think a lot of people are going to have the exact experience of what you're talking about right now. It's like, Friday and Saturday is about to happen for them. A lot of people are about to win some pro cards this weekend. A lot of people are about to lose on a pro qualifier stage. And so, what would be your advice for the people who are going to either win or lose their pro card this weekend or not gain their pro card this weekend? We'll start with like the winners. How do you navigate the post show after winning a pro card?
Just like take it in.
Mhm.
I didn't process it. And I think, and you won't process it for a little bit. You're going to feel like you're in a cloud for a while. Like you will. And you're gonna be on the greatest high ever for the first like week, just in those clouds, and then you're gonna start to process it a little bit, and then you're gonna be on like the greatest low, because the feelings you and just prepare for that. That's gonna be my big. No one told me that. No one told me that I'm gonna feel like. And maybe some people are different, but at least in my experience, no one told me that there's a possibility that these post-show blues are gonna be the hardest things I ever had to deal with. Because I remember sitting in the parking lot of the gym and being like, "Why am I here right now? Like, do
What
I even
now?
love bodybuilding? Like, what now? Like, am I good enough to even be a pro now? Like, now I have the pro stat. Like, am I gonna be the worst pro that ever existed? Like, now I have this. Now I'm in the bottom. You know, like, there's all those thoughts, and then you're just gonna have a little bit of self-doubt for a second, and that's okay, because you're gonna work through it, and your actions are gonna show. And take your time. Like, don't rush into a pro debut, just a pro debut. Like, do it when you feel ready, do it when you feel confident. Like, there's no rush at all. Like, the stage is always there, there's always shows. It's never like you're gonna miss a deadline. Like, there's zero rush in this sport, and this sport is all about patience, which I sucked at. So just do it on your call. Tell your coach, hey, I told Mike, I was like, I don't want to debut. He's like, why not? Let's debut. Sandy said to debut. I was like, I'm not debuting.
Yeah.
No. Say it. If you don't want to debut, then don't debut.
Yeah.
You need to do it on your dime.
Yeah.
So my thing would be prepare for the greatest high. Enjoy it. Love it. Live it up. Have the best weekend ever. But also prepare to have like the lowest low.
And
So that's
I think also coming to terms with the fact that, hey, just because you won your pro card really doesn't mean anything else. The only thing it means is that you just get to compete against different people.
yeah.
And competing against different people might also mean you might never win another show again.
No. So yeah, like really absorb this moment. Like, take it in. Be proud of yourself, the work you put in. Like, it really truly, I made a post on this, is like, it's just a, like, it's like a token for like the work you've already done. It's like this is like the gift you get because you acted like a pro throughout these years, or however long. Like, this is like a recognition of the work you've done, is the pro card. Like, that's what the pro card is in my mind. So enjoy it. Like, enjoy those moments. Live it up. Like, I mean, I gained like 15 pounds post show. It came down, but like, live it up. Might not be the best advice, but like, it is a big milestone. This might be the last time you ever step on stage, ever. You never know. So be at peace with it. Like, take it in. Take some moments for yourself. Sit alone. Be with your card. Like, reflect. Just really feel proud of yourself for what you've achieved, and like all the years prior to that, all the work that your day one. Be proud of your day one, because the first time you ever like thought about bodybuilding, like your day one, like probably would have never imagined they're right in your spot right now. So just be grateful for it all.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good part, or really good space to kind of leave off with. Good luck to you on the rest of this prep. Like I said, we're not going to spoil the surprise and tell people when you're competing. If you want to tell people, you can tell people.
I'll do the first two.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, maybe the first two. I'll do my confirmed ones. So Texas Pro, August 14th,
Hell yeah.
gang. Rising Sun Phoenix, August 22nd. Gold Gym Classic Raleigh, August 29th. And then TBD Tahoe, August 8th. So Homegirl's got like back to back to back to back shows. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. Like, I'll say too, your pro debut year, it's not about really placing. I'm just excited again from judges. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
excited to
absolutely.
get like the feedback, the this, the that, the like, if I happen to do amazing, that's amazing. But like, I want to get my name out there more. You
Yep.
know, like, I want to be on that pro list when it comes out. Like, I want to see my name keep appearing. I want to see people start recognizing me more, and like
Yeah.
judges being like, oh, that's Gemma. Like, that's your goal. That's your
Yep.
goal, your pro debut year.
Yeah. Well, You guys heard it here first. The Winning the Margins podcast exclusive show list from IFBB Pro, Bikini Pro, Gemma Nanista. Um, like I said, good luck to you the rest of the season. And obviously, I know August is going to be a very busy month for you. So, for those of you girls who are looking to get some posing in, book your sessions now.
Yeah, please.
Book your
Like,
sessions now. Book your
I'm
courses now.
yeah, I'm like Pitbull right now. I'm like Miss Worldwide right now. So lots of travel for this youngin.
That's amazing. Oh,
So.
I think you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, am I?
Oh, there she is. She's back.
Oh, I'm.
But on
Yeah.
that note, yep, but on that note, Gemma, thank you for coming on and being a guest on Winning the Margins podcast. I hope a lot of my audience is able to take some tidbits, some helpful tools from your perspective, both as a posing coach, as a pro competitor, and they're able to channel that into their own success. But that's
Mhm.
another episode of Winning the Margins podcast with myself, your host, Gabriel Rocha, and IFBB Bikini Pro, Gemma Nanista. Thanks, guys.
Bye.